Good afternoon, everybody. On today's Stitch we are going to be discussing the time that my high school girls basketball team went to states and what that trip downstate entailed. So once we figured out that the girls high school basketball team was going to make it to states, we really wanted to go. And we begged our parents to see if they would let us go downstate and drive down all by ourselves. And our parents were like, nope, you're way too young. Because I think just Gina had her license at the time. So what they said they would do instead is if we drove all the way to Marquette by ourselves, we could stay the night at my sister Johanna's college house, and then Johanna would drive us the rest of the way, and then we would stay at my Aunt Eva's house once we were down there. We were so excited we got to go, so we got in the car, we went to Johanna's house, we stayed at her college house that night, and then we got up in the morning and we started driving, and everything was going smoothly, but then we got to the bridge, and for some reason my sister Johanna, she wanted to make us listen to do your chain hang low, do they wobble to and fro, can you time and not, can you time in a bow, until the next turn. And she made this decision on the Mackinac Bridge. And if you know anything about driving down to Brighton, Michigan, you know that you are on the same highway until you take a turn about 2 miles from my aunt's house. And so we listened to that darn song for probably close to 3.5 hours. It was just miserable. And I don't know what possessed her to force us to do that, because it was kind of like we were at free will, but we weren't. But needless to say, every time I hear that song, that is the trip I think of. But then we get to my Aunt Eva's house. We went to the game. Our team was down after the first half by quite a few points, but then they end up having this amazing comeback and they won the state championships. And we were supposed to stay at my Aunt Eva's house a little bit longer, but instead of doing that, there was a winter storm warning that was going through like Gaylord area on the way back up north. So our mothers decided that we should drive directly through the snowstorm. I think they were hoping we would beat it. They told us, you can't stay downstate for the weekend with Auntie Eva. You have to drive up north now and get in the car and go. And so instead, they sent us directly through the snowstorm. We ended up going in the ditch around like West Branch, I think. The tow truck had to pull us out. We got to the Mackinac Bridge. They ended up having to call our neighbor, who's Brandy McKay. His wife had a sister or something that lived at the bridge. And so they made a few phone calls and they're like, okay, we actually found a place of somebody that we know that you can stay at, so you guys don't have to keep driving 4 more hours through the blizzards. And it all ended up working out. But talk about hilarious parents, like trying to beat the storm, but instead send your kids straight through it. And then when we got back to town, my mom ended up draping a bunch of this leftover orange fabric that she had over our big blue van and welcomed the girls' high school basketball team into town through the welcome parade. That's the reason why I don't like listening to that song anymore. Johanna got a bee in her bonnet, and that's what we were going to do. And we're stubborn Lucamas, so sometimes that's just kind of how we roll.